thank you all for letting us take some of your PE time for this program. As I mentioned last week, the name of the program is Kids Lead, and LEAD stands for Legal Education and Discovery. Introduce to you now Colin Sims. He's an assistant district attorney in our office, but he is the chief of our criminal division. And the way
as a prosecutor, when do I start my job? Okay. So what happens is law enforcement conducts an arrest. They arrest someone for stealing something, robbing someone, whatever, dealing drugs, whatever it is they're doing, they make an arrest. Someone goes to jail. There's a certain amount of time in which you get to have a hearing to which you get to get out of jail. The bond setting, the 72 hours of arrest. Law enforcement, the police or FBI, collects all of the evidence, fingerprints, DNA, guns, drugs, interviews witnesses, shirts. If someone says, I saw someone with a white t-shirt and neon green sneakers, and we go find them, we're grabbing, right? Bullets, we're gonna grab those and collect those, have those tested. Cash, controlled substances. Law enforcement collects all of that, puts all of it into a report. You say, District Attorney's Office, we've arrested someone, we've built a case, we want you to review it to see if the person should be formally charged, meaning that whatever it is you did that was criminal, we're going to put it in a document that says on X, Y, and Z date, you robbed so-and-so. We're going to file that document with the court. You've now been formally charged. You do that by either bill of information or a grand jury indictment. Most things are done by bill of information in the state system. We'll talk about the difference in a few minutes. So now you're charged. We charge someone. Our screening division makes sure that that's the right thing to do. Because just because law enforcement arrests you doesn't mean they did it the right way. It doesn't mean that you did it. We have to balance and make sure that it's the right thing to do. So we're kind of a gatekeeper. So when law enforcement arrests you, we decide, should we charge you? Should we let you go? Should we do something else? Maybe you need some help and some treatment. We make that decision within our office of what to do next. Or we just refuse the case and let you go and be on your way. Only and he says, I want to do it quickly. So you can see how long it can take. 60 to 100 days to make a charging decision. After the charging decision is made, it can still take up to 120 days if a defendant says, I want a speedy trial. For more complex cases, sometimes they get continued and continued, and sometimes someone can be waiting around for a year before they actually get their day in court. And that's kind of a tough pill to swallow. So what does that mean? Most cases plead guilty. Most people say, Judge, I don't want to exercise my right to go to trial that everyone has. I wish to take responsibility for what I did. What amount of time will I get in jail or some other program if I plead guilty? Because, and we want it to be a lot of work. You don't want people just getting convicted and going to jail just because we charge a document and accuse you of doing something that you may not have done. Okay. Do you like the police? Do you like the police? Do you have any relatives that are in police? That are a cop or other ones?
I have it.
Any family friends that were police officers?
You're talking.
Okay. And then I'd ask you, what do you like to do?
Like they do.
Play video games? What's your favorite video game?
It's a big one.
Overwatch? Is that a game? Is that like a strategic game or a video game like Madden that is for sports?
Yeah, but you think that
Do you like sports?
going?
Do you like video games better? So, as I would be asking questions, picking a jury, I start taking notes, right? I got an idea that he likes sports. He likes certain types of video games. He may be a different type of person. So what does that tell me is I'm just about to do for the next 2 weeks or a week and what I'm going to present. I'm going to give you a roadmap and tell you. You're going to hear from Betty. Betty's going to tell you she woke up at 6:30 in the morning and heard loud noises, bang, bang. She walked outside. She saw 3 dudes running away. One guy had white sneakers, other guy had green sneakers, other dude had red sneakers. One dude had a t-shirt, one dude had no shirt. I didn't get a good look. Then I'm going to call Mr. Schlemm. Mr. Schlemm says, hey, we responded to those shots, and we saw 2 guys running around the corner meet that same description. And when I call him, you're going to say he grabbed them. He recovered the sneakers. He brought them to the witness. She originally didn't think that she could see them, but when seeing them and what they had on, she was able to make a positive identification. You're also going to hear that her family album, along with all her possessions, was found on these guys' possession, stashed at either their house or in their backpack or otherwise. We're going to show you all that, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of this jury, in this trial, I'm going to ask you to vote guilty, because we're going to have shown that these guys, beyond a reasonable doubt, committed this offense, and we're going to bring to you all the witnesses who've done this. Why is what you've done at the DA's office and can be healthy? It's not just about convicting people and putting people in jail. It's about also funneling people to the right type of support system to give them a second chance or another opportunity. But at the same time, when those chances and those opportunities have been exhausted, our office has to say sometimes enough's enough, and we have to take a different approach. You heard people say, don't be a snitch, don't talk. Everyone's heard that terminology? Everybody talks. 90% of the people in jail talk. Start getting proactive. So there's more of a team approach in the federal system than the state system. It's how this strategy, everything. When Guy and I work together, or someone like us works together, this is what you have the ability to do. You get to go after the worst of the worst and move up the chain. We talked about that and said, God, what is that? So we talk about the technology. We talk about how prolific this gang wars, right? How violent they are. This is called a Niven chart. This is the activity in the history of what guns, so guns have a history, right? When guns are used, you can track different guns, and if you have, say, 6 or 7 murders somewhere, and you have all of these shell casings collected, you start to get a history of, okay, all these shell casings came from the same gun.
And that gun is a lot right there.
Boy, you can start telling a lot once you start getting people to tell you information of where they were, who they were with, and you can start saying, are you lying to me or telling the truth? Are you just telling me things you want me to hear because it sounds good? Yes, sir.
How do you know when somebody's lying if somebody sounds like shit?
Something like this. That's a good question. So how do we know when someone's lying? So, Todd and I, let's see, here's a good example. Guy named Andre Addison. So, guys start telling you, I don't know these people, right? I never hung out with them, I don't know who they are. Well, sir, when you were arrested, you're on the jail call telling your girlfriend turn directions to their house. And it's the house where 7 of your buddies popped up, where one guy was stopped by law enforcement, parked right outside.
So,
Then y'all go to high school together? You're on Facebook. I can see you on Facebook hanging out with these guys. What do you mean you don't know them? So he doesn't know what I know, right? So we start off with, say, I know everything about you, right? I know who your mom is. I know who you hang out with. I know everything on your social media. So I know everything. And you start telling me, Mr. Collin, I don't know this guy. I never hung out with that guy. Let me show you the picture of you guys hanging out 2 nights ago. You still don't know him? And then you move on, right? And then he starts telling you things. And what we always tell people is, hey, don't lie to me. Because then I can't use you. Because if you lie to me, I'll never be telling me the truth. And I've got a folder right here with all kinds of information in it. And you're going to start telling me things that I know and things that I don't know. You'll never know what I don't know and what I do know. So you start saying things, and I'm like, okay, I know that, I know that. You say something different, and I know it's a lie, we're done. I'm going to go call you into court, and you're looking at 15, 20, 30 years in jail, and I'll never come back. That's kind of how we have the conversation. And you'd be surprised, it takes 2 or 3 meetings to understand, and people start really telling you the truth after that. And the best thing is also when you tell someone, if you're me, I always keep my word. So I'm always telling the truth. I'm always going to tell you what you're looking at. I never lie to anybody, because that's the worst thing that can happen is your reputation. It's the worst that can happen in your life anyway. Forget this job, right? If you lie, you get a reputation for lying. Threats of people pull out, people are groomed to do it. But in other areas, you are threatened to join. I mean, you have this lifestyle thrown in your face. You participate, not participate. If you don't participate, how are you looked at? Are you with us or against us? It's a lot of pressure. But no one thinks that life's easy, or depending on where you grow up, that it's just an easy situation. You can be forced, pressured, or otherwise, or because you don't have other opportunities. It's easy money. It's thrown in your face. People out in a nice car, have nice things. You don't have the ability to go to college or get a job, or excel and take the opportunities to take advantage of sacrifices that your parents make to make sure you have a good education, get to school on time, get fed, all those things. You can fall into something that you never intended to fall into. You do one thing, and you say, maybe I'll do one more thing. And then you start compromising and all of a sudden you're knee deep in this, and you don't know how you got there, you don't know how to get out of the situation. We talked to one particular kid actually who was involved in this. He ended up killing too many people. These guys were having shootouts, leading to funerals, and he started off he was an AAU basketball player, Isaac Smith. You can see pictures. He was very awkward. You can see he wasn't part of the group, didn't know how to fit in, and his basketball deal didn't work out for him. Next thing you knew, he was selling weed, and then he was selling cocaine, and then they handed him a pistol, and then he just got out of control. And the next thing you know, he's killed how many people?
He will be convicted before, but there's more likely more than that. And like what Mr. Sims said, he's a kid that started off and what he wanted, except that no one made him do this.
Yep.
But he stood over a 57-year-old guy who had nothing to do with it. He just shot him and killed him. He shot and killed the 8-year-old person. But they need to rob her house to get drugs for her in South. We kept with everybody else.
They dealt drugs, robbed people, killed people, they shot at people, they intimidated witnesses.
They were extremely violent and extremely territorial and basically had a monopoly on the drug trade in the area which we call the West Bank.
And they had
In Harvey, Louisiana, just a few miles from the French Quarter on the west bank of the Mississippi River, no one had more product than Mr. Harvey and his crew of hustlers, and been set up to protect the assets and enforce the rules of the Harvey hustlers. The murder squad was built by two brothers, Melvin and Jermaine Hudson.
The Hudsons were part of the enforcement arm of the Harvey hustlers, and they were nicknamed characterized the murder squad, not to be messed with.
If a complete coincidence, guys knocked on the door and identified themselves as police. An elderly woman answers the door, and they immediately start shooting. And here, Robert Williams called somebody. He's trying to.
That's the last part we'll play. What's interesting about that deal is, so we had a wiretap on, and this guy caught 2 seconds.
Hey, aren't we?
He was running from the cops, and they actually saved his life. And because they were getting ready to go take him out, and they overheard it, and they had a chase with him in different areas. Ultimately, he goes.